what really makes you valuable is within you. It's about you discovering that for yourself. What will make you feel fulfilled for life, will make you feel alive and even much more happier with yourself, is knowing yourself. My name is Doyin. I'm a psych nurse practitioner. Welcome to Rethink Life with Doyin, where we unlearn to relearn. I'll be talking to you guys about ways you can discover your life purpose, how to overcome your fears. Someone asked me last time about how do you overcome your fear and live in your purpose, right? So I'm thinking to myself that I should go ahead and let's talk about how to discover your life purpose first, and also discover your niche. When we talk about purpose and we talk about niche, it's really who you are and what you're made of. Everyone carries a seed. And depending on whatever religion or path or cultural values you may have, I'm sure you have this in ignition and within your heart that you feel that you carry something bigger than yourself. Everyone can relate to this. So, from the Christian perspective, like I said, I believe in God. I'm not spiritual. I mean, I'm spiritual and not religious. And like I said, there's a reason I do, of course, relates to the Christian religion, but I am all about spirituality, which is a daily lifestyle for me. So there's a part in the Bible, right? It says that you should sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will equally succeed. It says the word is to sow your seed, right? And I'm not here to preach. Don't worry, everything will make sense, right? But I believe in everything works together for the good, right? So when it talks about your seed, so there's something that you carry on the inside, right? There's something within yourself. We have what we call gifts, right? We have gifts, and I would say that part of your gifts, right, is also your talents. Some people would say gifts are things that are innate with you. Absolutely. Aside from the gifts being innate with you, I believe and I know for sure that talent is also a part of that. Sometimes when you do research, it will tell you that gifts is something that is innate, while talents are things that are based on genetics. That is correct, absolutely. But because I believe that God is the creator of all human being, right? I know that inclusive of your gifts are also your talents, and that is absolutely true. One thing is that talents can be refined, so can gifts be refined. Talents, sometimes we think of it as dancing, being good at sports, right? Your genetics can also play a role in those areas. Singing, dancing, being able to move your body, being able to answer questions or be a genius, let's put it that way, right? Maybe easy to understand materials in a certain area much more than others. So someone could say those are gifts, right? We have geniuses, we have basketballers, we have musicians. These are things that we would normally see, right? Just because you can sing, you have a talent, does not mean you're necessarily you're necessarily gifted in music, if that makes sense. For example, just because you have a talent in singing does not mean that someone else, for example, they could have the talent of singing, but maybe they're able to hit a higher note or have the perfect pitch, or they are able to put things together and put rhythms together. Now we're talking about not just talents, we're tapping a little farther into the gift, right? They also know how to work with people, they know how to talk to people, they know how to stir up energy or stir up ignition in others. Now we're talking about gifting. So gifting sometimes can be very, very subtle, right? You may not see it like the way you see talents, but gifts, everyone has gifts, and it's something that it's innate with you. It's something you're born with, and you can refine it. But when it comes to gifts is it's easy to refine really well. You can refine it really well, and it has a higher potential power for wealth and success. It's so crazy, right? It's really similar to, like I said, the idea of a mustard seed and how it can germinate to become a big, huge oak tree or a big tree than you could ever imagine. The gifts you have are really something tiny within you that you carry that can manifest. Innate gifts are different from acquired skills. Acquired skills, right? They can be learned through teaching or experience, right? Whereby gifts, you know them, right? You can recognize them, and they can help people find, like, for example, they can help you, you can muster or you can increase that natural talents or the natural gifts you have, the natural abilities you have, the natural strengths you have. You can really refine that, but With talent, you may have to do extra work. With gifts, you would may not have necessarily have to do so much work because it's very natural. It's natural to you. It's like someone that can persuade someone easily. Someone else, you can teach them, doesn't mean they have that natural skill. Whereas someone else, you don't really have to, you just have to teach them a little bit and they get it. So that's the same idea of gifts and also of talent. Talents are something that, yes, could be genetically based, but don't get it wrong. Part of talents is also gifts, which you will understand much more. So why is it important for you to know your gifts? Why is it important for you to embrace your gift and then allow that to grow? Why is it important that with gifting you want to ensure that it's in the right environment? Think about it. Imagine you have a seed and you put it on a wooden floor. Would it germinate? No, right? It would not germinate to its fruitfulness. Whereas if you have a gift and you're in the right environment, now you allow that gift to manifest really well. You're going to allow that gift to germinate to its full potential. And that's the way it works in our lives. We are supposed to use our gifts and be in the right environment and allow it to germinate to the best, to germinate and flourish even much more than just being, for example, you could be in you can have a gift, but if you're not in the right work environment, you will feel unfulfilled. You will feel stressed out. And I'll tell you a little more things of what to expect. So innate gifts, right? They give you a sense of joy. Everyone is born with an innate gift, and it's an inherent gift. This makes certain that it makes certain, for example, the type of task you like, the type of job you will like. You'll prefer something over the other. These are the reasons why you will lean more towards a certain area or career path versus another. So, for example, someone that likes to work with their hands, right, versus someone that likes to delegate. I like to delegate. I'm more of a thinker. I'm not someone that does put things together with my hands. So, if I'm in an environment whereby I'm using my hands most often, I'm going to feel like I'm going to feel burnt out. I'm going to feel stressed. I'm going to feel tired. I'm going to feel, angry. I'm going to feel like I'm not good enough, right? And I'm going to feel anxious. I'm going to feel depressed. All of this ties back to the mental health. It's very interesting what we see, or at least what I see in my practice at UBridge Health. So people are more fulfilled in their careers when they are in the right environment. It allows them to work primarily from their gifts, right, and their natural talents. It's also with talents, right? You can own your talents via practicing. Don't forget what I said. Part of your gifting is also your talents. Talents, all right, they are present abilities. They're more natural, genetics, supernatural to some, but most of the time they're often called genetics based. Gifting, it's about potential abilities. So somebody might say you have a certain potential. Yes, when they're saying your potential, they're referring to your gifting. There's a gift you have, and you want to pay attention to the things that people say about you that are positive. Don't let people's negative words rule your life. A lot of people, they will hear something negative and they would then allow that to be a part of their identity. Most of the time it's because you don't know yourself yet. And part of this questions I'm going to tell you guys today will allow you to also know yourself. So the more time you master or you do well at something, right, that you're naturally gifted at, it's number one, there that you're naturally gifted at, it makes it easier, right? You don't have to spend tremendous effort to do something because you're naturally gifted at this, right? Versus someone that is not naturally gifted in something, you're gonna feel like you're working like an elephant, but only earning like chicken change. So you would work, you will have to put in a lot of energy, right? You will sweat. You may even achieve fewer results. You will feel less satisfaction when something doesn't align with your natural gift and talents. It's very frustrating. You spend more hours and you also get fewer rewards, right? Your boss would say, "Oh, you're not good enough," or you may feel you're not good enough, some compared to your counterparts or your coworkers that just gets things very fast. Now you start creating or starting self comparison, and before you know it, you feel down, you feel depressed, you feel worthless, you feel low self-worth, you feel like you're not good enough, you feel like a failure. So these are all the things that occurs when we're not in the right environment. So do you guys see how this ties into mental health? Trust me, This, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to anxiety, it's really you're overthinking, right? And you're worrying about many things all at once. You just feel like, you can't stop overthinking because now you have all these worries. And then when it comes to depression, right, you're feeling low self-worth, you're feeling less than, you're feeling like, you have no pleasure in doing what you want to do, and the work is still piling up, right? You still got to do it. You don't want to take care of yourself. You don't want to go to work, right? You may, want to feel like you don't really have the energy to go to work. You don't feel fulfillment in that. You also maybe overeating because now you're over worrying. You're going to start sleeping too much or not sleeping enough because you're staying up at night overthinking about how you're not good enough. Trust me, all of it can also affect your sex drive. It can affect your relations with others. It can affect you going out. It can affect you even eventually, before you know it, it can increase the level of having suicidal thoughts, right? It really, negative thoughts doesn't just come in, it's not just like, oh, one day I start. No, it's like piles up and piles up, and it becomes much more bigger than what you would ever imagine. So I hope you guys see how this really affects or relates to mental health. Not being in the right work environment could absolutely, or even having the wrong bosses or management, or being in the right career path in general, all of that could affect your mental health. And like I said, in psychiatry, trust me, ask any providers, we see this. And most providers are treating the symptoms. When I'm not here at UBridge Health, I don't treat symptoms. I'm trying to ensure that we go ahead and self-actualize. We discover who we are, we be in the right career path, and actually target what the root cause of our mental health issues are. Which part of it, apart from genetics playing a component, apart from environment playing a component, apart from the way we were raised playing a component to this portion, I feel like, you listen, if you're working about 50 years, I don't think work should be added to that. This is something we can easily change. So this is why I am here to help us discover our life purpose, be in the right career path for ourselves, find ways to monetize it, find ways to overcome our fears, and really live that meaningful, fulfilling life that we want and imagine for ourselves. So let's go a little further here, right? So part of your gifts is your talent, but it's not the only thing you have, and it's not the only component. So don't forget what I said. Part of your gifts is your talent. So we're not gonna say, oh, because you're talented at something, that we're gonna put that aside. What I'm trying to do here is that while you are trying to attain your dream or your life dream, or even if it's your talent you're trying to go for, what I'm trying to help you do is that while you're on that path, you're still making money. Because trust me, trying to achieve a dream and not having money to fuel that dream, oh my goodness, so much low self-worth, so much, anguish, depression, fearfulness, all that stuff is going to erode your mind, and you may even give up on that dream, right? You don't, pretty much, in other words, you don't want to be broke, right? Broke trying to achieve a dream. If you have family, you have children, yeah, you need to pay, you need to give them food, you need to, take care of your children, you need to be there for them. So all of these questions I'm going to give you tonight are going to encompass, not just, it's not just going to encompass, being able to achieve the dream or live the life you want. On your journey, you're going to be in the right environment. On your journey, you'll be able to make money. On your journey, you will be able to fuel your passion, right? I tell people it's not necessarily about monetizing your talents. People oftentimes want to monetize the talent. When you go ahead, don't get it wrong, it's great. If you have support, awesome. If your parents can pay your bills, awesome. But you have to understand, most people are not necessarily, they're not reasonable, right? You want to go ahead and monetize your talents, but you have 4 kids you have to feed. Come on, let it make sense. Let it make sense. So you want to make sure that you're making money. You're not suffering while you're trying to attain the goal you have in mind, or the vision, or the talents. I'm sorry, or the gifts you want to monetize to become your passion and purpose. So what I tell people is, you're not monetizing. I will say this: do not. It's not about monetizing your talents. You want to monetize your passion. When you monetize your passion, trust me, you will make more money. Okay. But when you monetize your gifts, that comes with a whole lot of headache, a whole lot of pain and anguish. And trust me, it's not fun. Trust me, you don't want to be there. So again, how to discover your life purpose and niche, right? The questions to ask. There are about 14 questions you can ask yourself. Strengths and skills. Write down your talent and skills. What do people say you're good at? What do you know you're good at? Reflect and think about your body parts, your senses. Which part of your body and senses do you use the most? And another two that you like. Vision for your life and future. This is a part of it. What are your life desires? Describe that. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your daily life to look like? How do you want your life and your working life to look like? Now, let's go on to the other part, values and beliefs. Write down what qualities, write down what qualities you have enjoyed or you think you will enjoy in career or jobs you did or you would do. Okay? So again, write down what qualities you have enjoyed or you think you will enjoy in a career or jobs you did or will do. Write down what qualities you did not like and would not like in a career you did, you're doing, or you just don't like in general. Now, let's go to this portion, passion and interest. What job roles do you find attractive? Again, what job roles do you find attractive? If you were not paid to do something, what job would you do? Regardless, if you were not paid to do it, what job would you do? The next part is your impact and contribution. What is something or a topic that aggravates you, that you can't stop talking about? You cannot stop talking about it to anyone. This is the bane of your existence. Just like you saw me, like I said, doing what I'm doing right here and also trying to help other younger generations. This occurred to me, and I don't want people to go through this as well for themselves. So this is the bane of your existence. There's something, it could be with motherhood. Like I said, I'll expand a little bit more. Now, do you have ideas of how you want to solve it? Is this something you came up with or was shown to you? So these are the questions that I want you guys to go ahead and I'm going to now go ahead and expand. I mentioned earlier, write down your talent and skills. What are your talent and skills? Are you good in, soccer? Are you good in music? Are you good with playing violin? What skills do you have? I know how to do hair. I know how to do makeup. What skills do you have? Do you know that you're good at in general? Now, what do people say you are good at? If you don't know what you're good at, what I will tell you is that what are some positive things people have said to you about you? Put the negative ones aside, okay? Put that aside for now. Don't get it wrong. Constructive criticism, it's fine. But I'm saying if they're telling you will not amount to anything, those kind of negative words, put that aside. We're not going to deal with negativity here, okay? So, and it's me being realistic with you guys because I want you to listen to yourself, right? So, what do people say you're good at? What positive comments have you gotten in your life that was astounding and they stuck with you? Write those things down. Now, what do you know? What do you know that you're good at? So apart from what do people say you're good at, now it's what do you know? That's number 3. What do you know you're good at? Number 4, I want you to go ahead and reflect and think about your body parts, right? Think about yourself. When you're sitting down by yourself in your house, what are you doing? What do you spend most of your time doing? Are you researching? Are you reading? Are you thinking? Are you doing, what are you doing? So reflect and think about your body parts and your senses. Which part of your body senses do you use the most? And you also enjoy it. Okay? It's something you do every day. It's every day. You do it every day. Okay? Now, the next part, next category. So we just went over four questions right now. The next category is your vision for your life and future. Most of the time, this is where it's very interesting because most of the time when we were younger, most of the time we think, oh, I want to make money. And we think automatically when you make money, you have the lifestyle. But as we grow older, then we discover, oh no, I get the money, but I may not get the lifestyle that I really want. So these questions, right? And I did this for myself. I didn't know I was discovering my life purpose and niche at the time. I was actually discovering my niche. I wanted to just monetize my passion, right? It's crazy. I didn't know what I was doing, but only for me to find out later on that the questions I was asking myself, and I continued to read and understand and refine my gifts, right? And refine my passion. I realized along the way that people have said the things that I'm saying. They may not say it exactly the same way I did it, but I realized the commonality. Some things were common. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that I was discovering my purpose and my niche, right? So what do you know you're good at, right? Think about the body parts you use. Which part of your body and senses do you use the most? And another 2 you may like, because you may not be sure. Like, oh, I like this one the most. Like, I like using my fingers. I like cleaning people that like to use their fingers. They're going to be cleaning the whole desktop, the whole table. They want to be they're always using their fingers. They're always doing that. People that like to talk, you will notice they're always chit chatty, chatty, chatty. People that like to stand on the people that like to stand on their feet, they cannot sit still. Like, and so think about all of those things. Those things all matter. Okay. Now, what are your life desires? Describe that. So people would normally tell you what are your life desires, but I'm asking you, I'm not asking you to say what are your life desires. I want you to envision in your mind and actually describe what that is for yourself. Okay? Describe that. Write down what qualities, keyword, write down what qualities you have enjoyed or think you will enjoy in a career or job. You did, you're doing, or will do. So this can apply to children, right? This can apply to anyone. Some people don't like micromanagers. Oh, no, 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 no. It's like okay. So you want to ensure, and some people do. Some people love people to really like, okay, so tell me, how are you doing today? Is everything okay? Like, they need someone to be on top of them. Know yourself. This is why I'm telling you, this is also going to help you discover your values, your core values. It helps you discover who you are. These questions I'm asking, it's pretty much it's the baseline and the foundation of what makes you you, who you are, your identity. I'm sure you've heard so many people talk about on social media, know yourself, who are you? But nobody tells you how to do it. Well, guess what? I do. Okay. At Ubridge Health, we also do that. So I'm really telling you guys this seriously, though, for real. So it's write down what are your life desires, right? Write down what your qualities that you have enjoyed or you think you will enjoy in careers. You did, you're doing, or will do. Also, write down the ones you don't like, right? You don't like, you've ever done before, you will do, write it down. The next thing, right? What do you want your life and your working life to look like? What do you want your life to look like? So they're different. What do you want your life? Describe that. Like, for example, I would say, what do I want my life to look like? Well, I don't want to have to struggle to make money. I want to be able to pay my bills on time. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to be there for them. I want to be able to make time for myself, relax, go on vacation, all that stuff. Don't get it wrong. You will have all that on the end, but I want you to envision what that looks like. Now, write down what you want your daily life to look like. Oh, okay, when I wake up in the morning, for example, me, I'm like, oh, I will have it my way. If I could have it my way, I would like to, wake up at 11 o'clock, wake up whenever I feel, but technically wake up at 11 o'clock. Preferably, I really want to work in my life. I'm like, okay, on the longer end, right? I want to work maybe 3 hours. I love to, I want to be like the glue of my business. That's what I think about it. I want to be that person that's making sure everything is like cohesive. I want to make sure, I'm teaching, I'm helping, but I'm not like, I can also go ahead and live out my dream and my talents and monetize that, right? And my gifting, right? This what I'm doing here. Eventually, I'll be doing it in colleges and schools. So these are the things that I want to do. I want to be able to sing, be the next legend or Burna Girl, like I say, you know what I'm saying, or Flavor, you get the point, right? I love music. I enjoy music, and that's one of my talents. So these are the things that I imagine in myself. So think about that for yourself, right? What do you want your daily life to look like? Now, how do you want your life and working life to look like? So for me, I wanted life then work, right? Most of the time people go for work life. No, I don't want work life. I don't want work. I want my life work, right? Life then work. My life is my work. It's very interesting how we say it. Like whatever is naturally doing, I want that to be my work. But preferably, I want to be able to live life and then work. So passion and interest, right? Um, what job roles do you find attractive? So that was why I covered on the topic of your childhood dreams maybe limiting you, because as a child, right? Some people may like to. Most of us would prefer, firefighters, pilots, doctor, teacher, engineer, musician. We love those kind of things, right? Music, DJ, whatever that is that we enjoy, right? So those are the things that we find attractive when we're younger, right? We just knew, oh my God, I love this. And I just feel like, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, I think I want to be that, right? But we forget to put into perspective also our adult dreams matter too. So it's not just about your childhood dream. It's also about your adult dream, because now your childhood dream was only giving you a glimpse of who you are, giving you a glimpse of what you enjoy. But your adult dream is really where you put it. You're supposed to put everything together. So this is why, and when it comes to Erickson's stage of development, right? So from the age of 13, right, we have identity versus confusion. So it's very interesting. Like a lot of young children, they feel very confused. They don't know who they are. They don't fit in. Oh, I don't fit in with my friends. I don't fit in with my colleagues. I don't fit in with everybody. Yeah, you have to understand that's normal. That's from 13 to 21. That's normal. Yes, it's very normal for you to be confused, for you to not know yourself, for you not to fit in. Absolutely. But the thing is that, don't get it wrong, you don't want to stay stuck there. And discovering yourself is going to help you. And this is why it's okay for children to go to therapy around that age. It's okay for them to, talk to someone around that age. It's okay for them to have this kind of conversations we're having about discovering your life purpose, discovering your niche, can also give them something to look forward to. People, like, they're like, oh, 13, my classmates they all know what they want to do in college. They all know what they want to be. I don't know what I want to be. Yeah, because most of the time you're trying to figure out your identity. And even if those people already know their identity, even if they know what they want to study, it does not mean that that's what they're going to study when they grow older, right? Sometimes people are afraid to let go of that childhood dream because they're like, oh, if I tell everybody I thought I was supposed to be a lawyer, but now you realize lawyer is not your dream. Now you're like, oh, if I tell people I don't want to be that means I'm a failure. So again, identity versus role confusion, that is valid. Another thing, that's why I say from 13 to 21, yeah, you're still trying to figure yourself out. Even some people never identify. Most people that are in their 40s, even 60s, even 50s may not still know themselves, and they're actually stuck in the stage of identity crisis or not knowing themselves, right? So that is why, even with the whole, people want to change their gender and stuff like that, right? Identity versus role confusion, all of those things play a role. So don't want to talk too much about that area, but again, you get the idea, right? Identity versus confusion. These children are also trying to find themselves. We have intimacy versus isolation. So you have to be able to graduate from one stage to go to the next stage. If you don't graduate from, like, let's say, graduate with fidelity, which is, let's say, you know your identity, right? Then if you don't know your identity, then you're going to feel confused. And guess what? You carry it on to the next stage from 21 to 39, and so forth and so forth. And then you go into generativity, right? Or stagnation, from 40 to 65. And then you may even have integrity versus despair. So all of this carries on. When you don't meet one stage, guess what? You carry the confusion. Then the next thing you carry isolation. The next thing you carry stagnation. The next thing you carry despair. So these are all the stages of development for young adults. Now, let's go back to here. Job roles you found attractive, right? You write it down. Now, what is a job? If you were not paid, right? If you were not paid to do this job, they wake you up in the middle of the night, maybe smack you. Let's pretend somebody smack you in the face, like, girl, get up, right? Nobody's gonna smack you. But that's what I thought about in my mind. Like, if someone like tapped me in the middle of the night and was like, Doyin, let's go. This job, this gig is on, and they're not paying us a dime, but I want you to come. They need you, right? We want you to be there. You're gonna have a great time. Just come. What is that job? What is it? For me, it was so simple. It was, I love to talk to people, and I want to help people, but not just helping people. I want to talk to people, and I want to improve their mindset. Look at what I'm doing now. I'm not paid a dime to do it, but I do it because I enjoy it. I love it. It makes me feel fulfilled. And guess what? In my niche, which is psychiatry, I enjoy that daily. I love to listen to people. I love to hear people's, life experiences and try to find ways that I can help them come up with better ways or actionable plan that's going to help them live that meaningful and fulfilling life. I monetize my passion. So that question is very important. So what is something that if you were not paid, but you will still do it? What is that thing? So imagine what that looks like for you. Next part that I want to expand on. This part that I'm talking about right now is going to talk about it's more geared towards your purpose, right? What is a topic, right? Anything that aggravates you. It could be childhood care. It could be parenting. It could be, the way people dress, the way people, like, sometimes you may just be looking at people and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could do something to that girl's hair. I wish I could yank that, that weave off and just start brushing it or whatever, right? Or start doing something about it. Even if they ask me to do it, I'll do it for free. All right. Even if she didn't ask me, I probably want to say, girl, can I help you with that? So it could be something as simple as that. It could be, you like to paint. it could, what is it, right? What is something, or maybe something about painting, or the culture of painting, or the, the culture of music, the culture of mental health, anything it could be. So write that down. What aggravates you? It could be the kitchen. It could be the toilet and how people don't clean it well. It could be you go to a restaurant and how people greet people when they come to the restaurant. Anything that, and this is like something you talk about with all of your friends, and it makes you angry. Okay, so right now, when I say ideas, do you have any ideas of how you want to solve it? Those are the things you can write down. Now, when I say, is this something you came up with, right? Sometimes understand, some people are given a lot, some people create their vision, and some people have a life-driven vision. So there are two difference. There's a difference between the two. A vision you create, right, is like saying, hey, for example, I want to ensure that there is water in the city that I live, right? You have an idea, you came up with an idea, you come up with a solution, you had a vision of how it's going to work, you went ahead and took care of it. Now, life-driven vision are something that it may not necessarily be something you came up with. Is something that is like nagging. It's like, imagine somebody beating your heart and be like, let me out, right? Let me out right now. Like, you need to do this right now. Okay. Similar. It's that nagging feeling, that thing you have within your heart. And it's like nagging and kicking you on the door. So life-driven vision sometimes can be shown to you through a vision. Okay, depending on what you believe in, but it can be shown to you through a vision. You may not necessarily see the way you go, how you're going to get there, but guess what? What you would see is the end result. I know it's crazy. You see the end result, but you may not necessarily see the steps to get there. So there's a difference between life vision and the vision that you create. And there's nothing wrong with either or. It's just that some people don't get it wrong. However, the creator created people, there's a reason why it does things the way he does it. And I don't know the answer to that. But just, I would say, whatever you believe in, pray to God about it, right? And this is where I talk about spirit guide, the Holy Spirit. It doesn't matter, like I said, there's, even if you don't have the Holy Spirit or you don't believe in Christianity, you have the consciousness. I'll call it the conscious spirit of what to do, whether it's right or wrong. Everybody has it. Everybody has it. Trust me, you do. And you can decide and say, I'm not going to listen to it. But everybody knows what the consciousness feels like when it tells you do something right or don't do something wrong. Like, don't do this, do that. You can decide not to listen. But again, you have the consciousness in you. Okay? Those are the questions that I've given to you. Write it down. Go back to this video. Follow me on Rethink Life with Doyin. Go on my YouTube channel. I have podcasts. Go back, write it, send it to your friends, send it to your children. It's going to help somebody. And of course, I do provide mental health services. And also, this is what I do. This is what makes my practice very distinct, because I can help you discover your life purpose and your niche and monetize it. I know how to do that. I'm leaving it. And I'm also trying to help other people discover what that is for themselves and the future generations as well. And people that are just stuck in the job that you don't like or a job they hate, right? And you want to get out of it. Let's come up with a plan of how to get that done. So that's where I'm here. I was supposed to talk about how to overcome one's fear and live in your purpose. So how do you overcome one's fear and live in your purpose? You see, what's so funny though, is that question somebody asked me last week. And I said, you just have to literally listen to your inner guide. But there's more to it. And what's so funny is that while in my practice, I created something that can help people overcome their depression or their anxiety. Preferably, let's even put it as anxiety, something that can, stop it in its track, both depression and anxiety. And I came up with an acronym, which is something that I'm going to talk about. And it's just very interesting. Just understand on your journey of discovering your purpose or being in your purpose or living in your purpose, you will come up with things that will surprise you. You will come up with ideas that you may not have even read a book and you just know the answer to it. It's crazy. I'm not the only one saying this. I'm telling you, go listen to very great speakers. They're telling you the same thing, because your purpose is who you are. It's what you do. Everything I just asked you, all the questions I gave you tonight, all the questions that we went over, those are all within you. We just never sat down to write it down or to think about it. This is why we have Rethink Life with Doyin, where we unlearn to relearn. So it's about really thinking about what we really want. Every question that I asked you, right, is you. It's about what you're good at. What do people say you're good at? What life you want to live? What are your life desires? What do you love? What do you hate? What do you enjoy? Like, these are the questions that I just asked you. What makes you aggravated? That's why I tell you, knowing yourself, discovering your life purpose, discovering your niche, it's all within you. But most of the time people think, oh, let me go buy clothing, let me go dress up, let me go do this. That will add to my identity. Keyword, temporarily, it will. But all that you need to identify who you really are is within you. And not bashing anyone that loves all that stuff. Trust me, that's all. That could also be a part of your purpose. But I'm just saying, sometimes people will not feel valued, or they don't feel like they're valuable unless they wear that Chanel, they wear that Prada. Don't get it wrong, that's all great. It adds to it. But the thing is, what really makes you valuable is within you. It's about you discovering that for yourself. When you can walk into a room with, let's put Sheen, okay? You can walk into a room with Sheen, and everybody gonna be like, wow, they're not even gonna think about the Sheen clothing you're wearing. They're gonna be thinking about the value you hold and what you bring. Like, those things are added value, the external values, but they don't define who we are. Just because you're wearing that big clothing or even wearing Sheen does not mean you don't feel low self-worth. It does not mean you don't feel like you're less than. But what will make you feel fulfilled for life, will make you feel alive and even much more happier with yourself, is knowing yourself and knowing how to discover all the strengths you have and bring that to fruition. After you do those questions and you write it down, what I do, this is where my gifting is. What I do is I go ahead and I look at the question and I see, and I go ahead and I help you say, okay, everything you've said right now, how can we go ahead and monetize your niche, your passion, everything, and your purpose? How can we do that? So I go ahead and look at the questions, and I go ahead and find it, and I pretty much analyze, and I try to find the commonalities of what you're saying. There's something you're saying, but you're saying the same thing over and over again. So I go ahead and write it down. I go ahead and put everything into the picture, and I go ahead. After I do that, I come up with like a little niche summary, a little niche summary. Then I discover, and then I go ahead and write down your niche, right? Which is where you're going to be best thriving. I tell you the kind of job roles that you possibly, highly possibly, right? Because you want to do something you're naturally gifted at. Remember, I said it has higher potential power of creating wealth. You're not supposed to chase after money. You're supposed to pursue your passion, pursue your purpose. This is what gives you money on the long run. Initially, purpose will not pay your bills initially. But trust me, when you discover your niche will pay your bill, which will then fuel your passion and your purpose, and then your passion and purpose. Trust me, if you want to make money for life, pursue your purpose and your passion. That first niche, then, because you don't want to be broke along the journey, okay? Or else you're gonna feel frustrated. Pursue those, then discover put that money into your passion, which is what I'm doing right now, right? Put it into your purpose. You're gonna know where to go, who to go to, and all that stuff. What I'm doing right here is something that I can do for companies too. So I can do this worldwide. You can do this too. Everybody has something to carry. Okay, you just want to discover what that is. That way you don't pay, you're not just paying your bills. Even in psychiatry, we have something we call self-actualization, whereby you realize who you are, discover and actualize, actually know yourself, you can attain everything in the world. But if you don't, most of the time we're looking for money and food and bread to eat. Don't get it wrong, that's all important. We need to allow that. This is why I say niche first, and then you discover your purpose, which will allow you to also be able to tap into self-actualization, right? Discovering yourself and also finding ways to monetize it. And it fulfills your life and everything. So it's not just about can you do it. The question is, can you do it? If I ask anybody, can you do your life? Can you do whatever? When I do the analysis, can you do it? Of course, anybody. People say, oh yeah, I have what it takes to do everything I can. That's what they say. But the real question is, they will say, yes, you can. Now, what would you say? Another question is, how would you do this, right? And stay the course. That's something that is difficult for most people, and I'll cover more on next time, another topic on that. Now the other question is, will you do it? So you can know what you're gifted at, you can try to find ways to monetize it, but the question is, will you do it? Because that requires a transformative mind, right? Right, you don't get everything you want without being transformed. You can't gain wealth with a minimum wage mindset, okay, or habits. You cannot have a million. Somebody said, Zig Ziglar said, you can't have a million dream You can't have a million dream with minimum wage work ethics. I say, me, Doyin, the PMHNP Doyin, I say true wealth cannot be achieved with limited mindset, a stagnant growth, stagnant soul, or zero transformation. Another way is saying that you can achieve or live your $1 million dream with limited mindset and zero personal life transformation. You are going to become someone new. You are going to be someone of value. You have to go, just like the gold goes through the rough and the pruning, just like the diamond goes through so much pressure to become what it is, you would have to go through that too. But don't get it wrong. There's a way you can make sure that it's much more fulfilling and enjoyable for yourself and you don't struggle. And this is why I have how to discover your niche and how to discover your life purpose. Sometimes we're limited in the idea, right, of the career we want to go for. There's so much careers out there, and they can all have similarity or they can have qualities of the gifts, right? What you're gifted at. It could be maybe you're persuasive. Well, guess what? That could be introduced into different career choices that I will come up with for you. And then you can also find, this are the ways you can find your baseline of the business you want to go ahead and open, so you can really attain the wealth, and you can also subdue the world and really gain the wealth and also be a personal value for yourself and build legacy for generations to come, and also create impacts and touch people's lives. This is the way you can do it. So purpose builds resilience, right? It forces you to come out of your comfort. It builds you, it heals you, it enriches you and others and the world, right? It enriches you, others, and the world. It's not just about having a talent, it's about for other people too. It takes you out of depression. It also helps you with anxiety. It strengthens your mind. It gives you the joy to wake up in the morning. It makes you feel happy to wake up in the morning to do whatever you do. It eliminates or even minimizes, right, your worry. I would say more like, right, if you know, because you'll through the process of the purpose, you learn to fill up, which means you learn to fill, but you feel better, you feel faster. I don't call it failure, it's more of like a setback. So it's like a pullback to plunge it forward. So purpose, right, it helps you. It's crazy. It allows you to believe in the impossibility, that you believe in the impossible and that it can happen because you see the vision, right? Somebody saw this phone, they saw the vision, we didn't see it before, we didn't know it was going to happen. So you see the vision in your mind, you work towards it. Life only opens, life unveils itself one step at a time, but the vision is already fulfilled, is already completed. Purpose, it can help you increase your belief in God. It can also, right, that's what it does, because you're going to have to lean within yourself to know what is right for you. Everybody, whatever is right, your conscious spirit can tell you, or the Holy Spirit, whatever you believe in, depending on what religion or spiritual path you're on. It helps you live right. It gives you value. It increases your value in life. It makes you joyful. It makes you feel awake, alive. It's more than medication. Medication is good, don't get it wrong, but it's more than medication. It's that beautiful will that you have within yourself. As long as you follow that inner guide and the conscious spirit within you, this is what purpose feels like. And there's so much more. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. I appreciate you, and see you next time as we cover how to overcome one's fear and live in your purpose. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys. Bye.
Don't forget, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.